Every year we hear talk of the budget, the winners, the losers, and everything in between. But what even is this document everyone seems to be obsessed with, and why should I care? The budget is a set of policy and financial planning documents that detail how much tax governments take from you and what they intend to spend the money on. So why should I care? The government's spending your money, so it's good to know what they're going to do with it. All governments in Australia prepare budgets annually, from local councils to state, territory and federal governments. We'll focus on the federal budget in this video. Typically handed down in May, the budget explains how the federal government spends the hundreds of billions of dollars it receives each year on services like Medicare, public schools and roads. The accounts are prepared over what is called the forward estimates, which is a 4-year period that shows how revenue and spending could shift over time. Each year that period moves forward. In the next budget, it will stretch from the current financial year, 23-24 to 26-27. There are 4 main budget documents that encompass all those projections, numbering 1 through 4, each focusing on different areas of federal finances. The first paper covers the government strategy for the budget and economic forecasts that underpin how public revenue and spending could change. This is often the paper that grabs the most public attention and media coverage because it surmises what the government wants to do and what it means for public finances. At this point, we should note that the budget at its heart is a political document. The government uses it to highlight their priorities and pitch their plans to voters, which they believe will help them come election time. Budget Paper 1 encompasses this, explaining in detail with economic modelling how their policy strategy is being implemented. Although, all that grandstanding can make it difficult to unpack the specific policies the government is implementing and how much it could cost or save the budget. That's where Budget Paper 2 comes in. This document is a line-by-line record of each measure, also known as policies, the government is pursuing in a given year and beyond. There are 2 sides to Budget Paper 2, the revenue and the spending. Each policy in areas like defence, environment and social services is broken down in terms of how much money it could cost or save the budget over the forward estimates. Paper 2 is where you'll find some of those quirky and infamous policies, including the time Barnaby Joyce wanted to infect carp populations with herpes. This is also where the government tries to hide things, like the time in 2021 when a not-for-publication label was placed over the value of subsidies for fossil fuel giants. Budget Paper 2 can be a pain to look through, but it can reveal things the government would rather not mention in its pitch to voters. These might be things like cuts to public service, including the time the government ripped $352 million from social service payments under a Centrelink overhaul. At this stage, you might be wondering how all those policies and strategies are actually being implemented by each government department and agency. That's where Budget Papers 3 and 4 come into the picture. These documents get into the nuts and bolts of how funds are allocated between federal government departments and the financial relations with each state and territory government. Basically how money flows between the federal government and the states related to things like GST, school funding, and infrastructure programs. If you want to have a look for yourself, the entire budget is available at budget.gov.au and it's worth a read if you're interested in Ozpol. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you've learned a little bit more about how the Australian government works, and if you have any questions about policies or the budget, all that sort of stuff, leave them in the comments and we'll try to get back to you. Thanks.